Welcome to my studio. So today we talked about painting and the concepts behind painting. Today I'm going to talk about the actual foundation of painting, and that's drawing. Drawing to paint better. If you can't draw, you're not going to be able to paint well. Drawing is the foundation of everything visual. Drawing is our first and immediate ability to make a response, to make a statement. You know, if you think of language, the written word is actually drawing, making symbols. And these symbols are abstractions. So when somebody writes down T-R-E-E, they're writing an abstraction for tree. The tree that we conceptualize. It's the same thing with painting and drawing. We're not making a tree when we paint it or draw it. We're making an abstraction of it, a thought of it. So drawing is the foundation of being able to abstract reality or whatever and create. And so, you know, drawings in everything. An architect draws his floor plans before and elevations before he does anything. A mechanical engineer draws everything before they do anything. So painting has to have the foundation of drawing if you're going to paint well. And as in my teaching experience, I've had many students come up to me and say, you know, I'm stuck. I can't seem to get better in painting. Why can't I get any better? And basically the problem is they can't draw well. And so when I was going to art college and majoring in painting, half of my studio time was spent in the drawing studio, drawing from the figure. We drew from the figure primarily because the figure is one of the hardest things there is to get right. You know, if it's distorted or wrong, it's wrong, and it's very obvious. And so we drew from the figure. I spent as many hours in the drawing studio as I did in the painting studio. And not by choice. I mean, everybody wants to paint. But drawing, you guys, is the foundation of the visual arts, of our ability to abstract, to see space, positive and negative. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with those terms. You may have heard them and maybe not totally understand them. But I've got a still life that I did here. The still life is, you know, it's several years old. It was actually in my mom's collection. I painted it, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. And when she passed away, then I re-inherited the painting. But a still life is a great thing to set up and enhance your drawing skills. You know, draw self-portraits, draw portraits of people, draw figures, these things are demanding. Trees, on the other hand, you can sit down and draw trees. Trees are in every shape and form. So trees are kind of, you know, ambiguous. You know, you need to draw something that is more concise. So in a still life, for example, when you set it up, everything you see and consciously think of as something, as an object, is what we call positive space. So this apple is positive space. So I have the positive space of all these apples. How do I place these correctly in the painting if I'm looking at the still life? So I do it, it's like a puzzle in a way, by placing positive and negative shapes together. So this is a positive shape. Now the drape is in itself a positive shape in a way, if we take the whole drape in, but the shape that it creates, that the edges of the contours of the apples create, we call a negative shape. And learning to see these things as shapes abstractly helps you to place everything in the correct placement, to get things right. So drawing and getting your skill where things look right, where they sit in space, where the figure's not contorted, where things work. That's the basis, that's the foundation of painting. Drawing, try different media. You know, if you don't want to just do pencil, try pen and ink. Vine charcoal is great. You know, it's kind of wispy and fun to draw with. Charcoal, draw with charcoal. They call it painting, but, you know, or with pastel. But try drawing. Think about line. Think about contour. The contour is the edge of an object. You know, if these contours aren't right and don't have the correct relationship, it's not going to look right. It's not going to work. If this relationship isn't correct to this relationship, that's not going to work. So drawing is the foundation for making this painting visually correct. A thing about paper, thing to draw on. If you're going to do a lot of drawings and just toss them away, buy a newsprint. It's really cheap. You can buy tablets of it. And just, you know, you don't have to worry about it. When you get down, if you want to do some really serious drawing and you really want to put some time into it, buy some paper, really, great rag paper. I love Reeves BFK myself, which is a printmaking paper. But man, you can draw on it. It's wonderful paper. But think about lines and edges and contours and these kinds of things. When you're drawing, you can do shading. If you're doing pastel, you can do smudging. You use a stump. If you're doing pen and ink, for example, you use cross-hatching to create your sense of contours. All of these things make you more conscious of the actual skill of drawing, which enhances your ability to paint. There are also a few books out there. This is one that's an old book, it's been around forever, but it's a good book. Nicolati's The Natural Way to Draw. And these are kind of nice books because you can kind of self-teach with these books. So drawing as the foundation to painting, it's a necessary evil. It's something we have to perfect. I, believe that you have to do things sometimes to enhance other things. So in other words, if you want to become a better painter, maybe you look at other media. When I was in grad school, my professor wanted me to sculpt things in clay so I could understand contour edges better to draw. So don't just think of painting as your form of communication. Think of all media as ways that you can communicate and bring all of these into your field because they'll make you a better artist. So hopefully this little talk has given you some input. But really draw. Sit down and sketch. It's really important to your ability to paint. Have a good day and God bless.